Hey everybody, it's Kim here. How are you doing? Wanted to show you something I have cooking up with a wire O binding and an Annie Plans Printables. Now Annie is known for, and I'll show you, she's known for her Traveler's Notebooks inserts. Now this is a standard size notebook, that's the one I work with. And so she's got these lovely covers and these fold out pages, and so this is her monthly spreads, and there's plenty of information if you go online to Etsy, and I'll link that shop below for you if you were interested. But anyway, she's known for her Traveler's Notebook inserts. Now she's got all different types, but I was starting to think about what I could do with her inserts that weren't for my Traveler's Notebook. And so I came up with, since I love to have a daily schedule sometimes, but some days I don't need a daily schedule. So what I've come up with is a desk calendar that I can use while doing work, so I can time out those days that I need to and have some notes pages. So this is her undated weekly timed inserts. And again, I'll link exactly what this is below, but you could do this with any of her other printables. Now, how you print them is you don't do the duplex printing where it automatically prints on the other side, because it'll be all wonky. It's made for a Traveler's Notebook, so Monday maybe page it may be page 2, but Tuesday is not page 3, if you get what I mean. So duplex would be printing on one side and then printing on the other. So what you've got to do is you got to print your Mondays, then you need to flip them over in the tray and then print on Tuesday. So in my printer, all the Mondays print. You could do. I did 12 Mondays, and these are both sided printing. So this is Monday, and then what I do is once it comes out of the tray, and then I flip it over and put it back in the tray to do Tuesday on the other side. And I'll show you Tuesday as I did as a flip up. So if you can imagine when you've got your wire O binding, and you've got your Tuesday and your Wednesday, and you keep going. And I did Thursday and Friday, and then I did Saturday on the other side of Friday. Now, what you're thinking about Sunday? Well, I rarely need any timed inserts on Sunday, so what I just did is quit. Now, you're more than welcome to print out, say you've got Mondays off and you never do timed on Mondays, then don't print that day. If you decide to do Sunday, which could work for some people, you could always make Sunday blank, the other side of Sunday blank. So say this would be Sunday. You could make the other side blank. You could do a dot grid. You can do a graph grid like this is, just on a full. Could make it just plain for notes paper. So it's your choice. And a lot of people ask, what kind of paper do I use? I use 28-pound Hammer Mill copy paper, and I'll also link that below. It's blue and like lime green. So I'll link it below so you guys can check it out. But anyway, so let's get started. I'm going to show you how to assemble it. First of all, you see the registration marks that Annie has for your Traveler's Notebook. Now, what I'm going to do is just going to chop off the sides just like this, and then I'm going to go from there. So I'll be right back. Let me go chop off the sides, and I'll show you also how I do that. Just a second. So how I cut off my edges is I use this clear Omni Grid ruler. This is in your quilting section of your local craft store. You can buy it on Amazon. I'll again link my favorites below. So this is a 6 by 12 inch grid ruler, and then I have my 60 millimeter rotary cutter, and that's how I cut all my inserts. I've got about a third of the pack right here. I'd say it's about 12-ish pages, something like that. And I just go ahead and run my rotary cutter across it twice. And again, please be careful. This is a roller blade on wheels, so I don't want any gun getting hurt. So then I've just chopped off the edges, and as you can see, I got the registration mark that's vertical, but also the horizontal. So in one swoop, I'm all finished. So I'm going to throw those away, and then I'm going to do the other side. So there I go. I'm going to just quickly do the rest of the bunch, and then I'll get back to you in just a second. All right, so now I've got them all printed off and cut, and they're all ready to go, and they're all even, and they're all perfect, and I love that. So anyway, I'm going to get started with the next part, which would be cutting the holes at the top, and I use this Heidi Swap cinch, and I'm going to just punch them from here so you can see what I'm doing. So what you want to do is, this is a 3/4 inch We Are Memory Keeper cinch wire O binding. It's a lot of words. Link it below exactly what that is. It comes in several different colors. This one is silver. I've used pink. I have black. There's teal. It just comes in a full host of fun colors. So anyway, so this is my test sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and start punching. And the machine says 20 sheet max of lightweight paper. I'm not going to go that far and do 20 sheets. I'm just going to do probably just a handful. All right, I've got everything ready to go. I've got it on one, and I'm going to crank down the handle and just crank it out. All right, friends, I have all of these punched. Now I'm just going to finish up punching these, and I'll show you how I do that. I move this guide all the way over to, let's say, 5. Make sure it's directly on the 5 and not elsewhere, because even if it's that far off, it could, you know, get you in the long run. And so and you guys can watch tutorials about these online, but you pull out the ones you don't want to repunch, because you never want to repunch a hole that you've already punched. And plus, I also know that this one will compete with this edge here, so I need to make sure 5, 6, and 7 are ready and in, and I will start punching the rest. Again, you'll use your guide, push it in, crank the handle. I am finished with this part of using the cinch. Looks like there's some holes in there. So I'm going to put this aside for now. I'm going to need my rotary cutter mat one more time. And as you can see, all of these holes lined up beautifully. Sometimes you'll get a tag or two that just dangle on, but they come right off real quick. And so that's what we see here. There we go. Now we're all set and ready to go, but we need, for support and stabilization, we need a back and a front. So what I'm going to do is make a back out of chipboard paper. It is 8.5. Well, I thought it was. Maybe it's 9. But I'm going to cut it into 8.5 by 8 and go from there. And I also need a top. And luckily, I've already cut a top for you. This is just regular scrapbooking paper. This is white. I'm going to decorate mine later after the fact, after I get it bound. But this is just, again, scrapbook paper, nothing serious. I'm going to go ahead and punch these, and I'll be right back. All right, now it's time to assemble. And this cool thing about the cinch is that in the back, I don't know if you can see, it's got this dial, and I have it dialed in. I'm going to have it dialed into the right size. This one is, I guess, 3/4 inch, at least that's what it says on the piece of paper that came with the instructions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble this, and as you can see, I wrote the little tiny word top on this because I wanted to make sure, because if I punched it this way, I'd have to recut a piece of paper. So I just decided to do it this way. So I've got my backing chipboard, all of my papers in order, and my top. And what you're going to do is you'd want to start binding it this way, but that's not the way you do it. I know it sounds kind of weird, but you put the right sides together of here, then you stick. what you're going to do is you're going to put it in this back here, and it's going to crank down. I like to make sure this is very taut against this back part. So I'm going to crank it down just a little bit. And remember, you've got this one over here you'll have to repeat with. And there you go. You now have your own Annie Plans desktop calendar for your desktop. And so I'll decorate this later, but here you go. Monday, and then Tuesday is on the opposite side up on top. So you can just flip it over and right away. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it. And don't forget, you can always make the seam over here if you wanted to do it that way. So it doesn't always have to be on the top. You can make it how you want to. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you later. Bye.